Hello, everybody. My name is Mohammad Aves. I'm a lead software engineer. And for today, we will be going to talk about incremental hydration in Angular. First of all, thank you so much, Darius, to invite me to talk about Angular latest thing, which is called incremental hydration. So this talk is all about NG Poland, and let's get started. Okay, so it's all about angular hydration, and incremental hydration has been a big part of server-side rendering, which Angular keep implementing and keep improving that thing. So it's all about thank you and applause for all the contributors who is actually been doing hard for making that thing possible. Before going into the talk in detail, so first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Mohammad Abes. I'm a lead software engineer. I am been working in the software industry for past 9+ years. Angular is my first love, so that's it's all about. And we will be going to talk about Angular and all those stuff. I'm doing open source contributions. My first open source contribution was in NGRX, which is state management library of Angular, and doing community collaborations for Angular Tech Talks and multiple Angular user groups. So let's proceed with the talk. Okay. First of all, what is Angular? What is Angular? And it's been pretty simple. That has been an amazing framework for making your web applications more powerful, most interactive, and that's it's all about Angular is Angular. So incremental hydration is in Angular, which is used for server-side rendering to improve your page interactivity. First of all, the server-side rendering is a concept for having applications being served on the server and then being loaded on the browser and the DOM. So control when you have different parts of application. So loading all those chunks together in the very first load, so that make our applications more slower in terms of performance and optimizations. So on keeping those things in mind, Angular had incremented and implemented the incremental hydration part, which is for request for the things, and it's been now available for Angular developers to make use of those things in a very good way. So we have differ blocks, which is released in the latest Angular version. So now we have make use of incremental hydration with the basis of differ blocks to incremental hydrate the concepts, incremental hydrate the blocks when you are on that section. So which is very amazing. So hydration in Angular has been a process for getting your HTML, downloading all your JavaScripts, and getting parsing and executing JavaScript for a browser to understand, because our browser don't understand the ES6 and all those next generation JavaScript. So compiling those stuffs and transpiling those from the next generation JavaScript to the browser, and then after the hydration parts comes in, the whole application which is actually being served on the server, then it's been rendered on your DOM. So all these things are actually being part of hydration. As in the diagram, you can see hydration getting HTML from the server, doing all those stuff and making things ready. So hydration in Angular used for maintaining the application state, transferring data from server to already retrieved processes, and reusing the DOM elements and all those stuff and etc. So Angular is handling those things pretty in an amazing way. So then the next part is like how you can activate SSR in Angular. So with the help of Angular powerful CLI, so you can get use of ng-add Angular SSR. And then after adding that one, so you need to add a provider in your Bootstrap application method. So in the Bootstrap application method, in the providers array, you need to provide client hydration, which is being getting started of your SSR implementing in Angular. Now, the part is like after adding it, how you can verify, how you can check your hydration is enabled in your Angular applications or not. So if you have enabled the Angular browser extension we have, so which is in Angular, and which is pretty amazing and straightforward and very fast to recognize your components, getting things ready and all those stuff to make your things and available for debugging in a very good way. So when you open your dev tools, so message displays for hydration related statistics, it actually shows you the number of components and nodes that are being hydrated to your browser. So that's actually the pretty amazing way to check it out, like if it's been enabled or not. So now, how to allow users to interact even before when your HTML is being loaded and served on the browser. It is very important actually. When earlier SSR being enabled in the Angular, we don't have that feature. That means it's like assume that app is rendered on the server and HTML is produced. HTML is now produced and loads in the browser, but user cannot interact because the event listeners are still loading and those are not attached because some of the scripts are being still loading. So which was actually the main challenge, and Angular had resolved that with Angular v18. Now we have with event replay feature, which you need to add in your providers. Remember in our previous slide, what we did is we enabled provide client hydration method in our providers array. So in that, as a parameter, you need to pass with event replay feature. With event replay function, it actually captures all the events that occur before hydration and replays them once hydration is completed. So which is pretty amazing now. SSR in Angular is been going above and beyond, and we are actually on a new road to go high. So now we have added implementation of incremental hydration in chunks. Now, if assume that we have some components or some sections of the application which are not good in terms of interaction, and those are actually been taking more time or not performing well in hydration and SSR. So Angular had provided ng skip hydration attribute through which you can actually bypass the hydration process of that chunk. So which is very straightforward. Just you need to add ng skip hydration attribute in the HTML part, or maybe in the TypeScript part. In the script part, what you need to do is you need to add a host key, and in that you need to provide ng skip hydration key and value should be true. So then it's all about bypassing the hydration process. Assume that you have a whole complete of home page and you don't want to make implement the incremental hydration in your slider component. So just you need to do that attribute and it's been above and beyond. So now the next part is like how you can configure incremental hydration. So incremental hydration, as I showed. So in the latest Angular versions, you need to update in your app config file. So in your app config file, just you need to go and in providers array, you need to pass provide client hydration. And with that, with partial hydration is being added as a parameter to that function. So that's actually been for defining your configuration object. And for Angular application using incremental hydration, that object include a providers array, which register the service or functionalities available throughout the application related to the incremental hydration. Now, incremental hydration in action, as I talked about, so we can take help from different blocks. So one of the component called, like assume that we have a whole bunch of homepage component and we don't want to apply incremental hydration. You just need to pass ng skip hydration attribute, and now, with the help of differ block, you need to provide hydrate on interaction or hydrate on hover. So that means like there are multiple options available so that you can do. A differ block define an incremental hydration boundary by applying conditions such as hydrate on, hydrate when, and hydrate never. It support idle, viewport, and multiple interactions of keyboards and events and clicks. So that's all about having the differ blocks having in action with incremental hydration. Now we have another part called nested hydration. So with the nested hydration, when assume that we have multiple different blocks and those are actually being dehydrated states, so their conditionals are evaluated concurrency. So I have an example available. So that is called the first differ block is hydrating on hover. That means like we have a card component or we have a component of listing of cards. So when we scroll on that, when we hover on that section, so that section will be going to hydrate. Now, then inside that we have a defer called hydrate, which is actually running after 15 seconds. So when you are hydrating the main section, that is being hydrating on hover. And then inside that section, if you are hydrating, assuming that that is hydrating after 15 seconds. So with the help of that, the inner blocks hydrate after 15 seconds. So timer will trigger the hydration after 15 seconds. So this is how you can use nested hydration. Now we have also called hydrate with never trigger. So that is used for Angular define a differ block that will never be hydrated, meaning the content inside that block is static, remain static, that will not going to hydrate and be available for SSR, and it's been non-interactive. So the user component, so the user projects component will be rendered, but not will be hydrated. So that's all about the talk, and it's been pretty amazing to have you here in the NG Poland. And that's all about incremental hydration. Hope you enjoyed the session and keep connect with me on my Twitter. I have a GitHub and my amazing cool portfolio. So love to see you all in the next NG Poland. Thank you.